Hello everybody, I'm Robbie Hart from IELTS Coach Pro. This is Method Mondays and we are in week 2 of our IELTS Writing Task 2 mini course. Last week we taught you how to make an amazing 2-sentence introduction and we looked at an agree or disagree question type. Today we'll be looking at a problem and solution question type and we'll be especially looking at how to do outline and structure so that you can get a really high score in coherence and cohesion. Before we get into it, I would like to announce last week's winner of the contest is Sahaj Pratap Singh. So congratulations, Sahaj. For all of you watching this video, if you stick around to the end, we have a free gift for you and another contest. So watch it all the way through, get some good methods, and do some practice, and you could be a winner as well. So Sahaj wrote this introduction that we have at the top. He said, "It is generally believed that youngsters should never be put behind the bars with adults in any circumstances, irrespective of their committed crime. This essay efficiently agrees with this perspective because the adult can influence the minor to indulge into bad deeds and can brainwash his mind, which might lead to change in the innocent thoughts of the minor." So it's not a perfect introduction, but he did accomplish all of the things that I taught in last week's video about how to get a high task achievement score in your IELTS Task 2 introduction. So if you look at the bottom, I corrected some of the grammar and omitted a couple things, changed a couple things, but generally, good job, Sahaj, and keep up the good work. As a reminder, these are the 4 IELTS writing criteria. So these are the things that the examiners will look at when they are marking your essay. You want to have good task achievement, which means answering the question and developing your main points. You need good coherence and cohesion, which means having a good structure, using referencing and substitution properly, and also using good linking devices. We will especially be focusing on this one today. You also have lexical resource, which means using a variety of vocabulary words appropriately, and they will also be looking at your grammatical range and accuracy. So you need to use a wide variety of grammar structures and use them appropriately. However, let us look at coherence and cohesion, especially today. And these are some things that describe an essay with band 5 in coherence and cohesion. So these are some things that we want to avoid. We want to avoid inadequate organization and progression. We need to avoid underused, overused, or improper cohesive devices. This is significant because a lot of people, they think the more cohesive devices, the more linking words I put into my essay, the higher my coherence and cohesion score is going to be. That is not true. You will get a low score if you underuse cohesive devices. You will also get a low score if you overuse them. And obviously, if you use them wrongly, you will get a lower score. So it's very important to not have too many linking words, not have too few, and the ones you use need to be used properly. You will also get a low score in coherence and cohesion if your essay has a lack of referencing and substitution. So this is using pronouns and other ways of referring back to words that you've used in your essay without repeating that same word over and over again. The last thing that will lower your coherence and cohesion score is inadequate paragraphing. So we want to flip these things. We want to get a band 8 in coherence and cohesion. And so these are the things we need to do. We need to sequence our information and ideas logically. We need to use appropriate cohesive devices. We need to use appropriate referencing and substitution. And we need logical paragraphing with a clear central topic in each paragraph. And today we are going to be especially focusing on your structure and your outline, which is going to really help you with those purple points. So after today's video, you should really improve your skills at sequencing information and ideas logically, because we're going to give you a logical structure to follow, and your paragraphing skills will increase because we're going to show you exactly how to divide up your paragraphs for this type of question. So you may know that in IELTS Task 2 Writing, there are 5 main question types. Today we are going to be focusing on problem and solution questions. You need to be careful with these because there are 2 different ways that they could give this question to you. The first one says, what do you think are the causes of these problems and what are some possible solutions? So you have the word causes there. That's very significant. The second way they could ask these questions is, what do you think are the problems with this and what are some possible solutions? So in that second one, they want you to talk about the problems and solutions. And in the first one, they want you to talk about causes and solutions. The structure for both of these question forms will be very similar, but you need to pay attention to this because your answer will be a little bit different. The structure will be similar, but the content will be different. You need to make sure you know if you're talking about causes and solutions or problems and solutions. Today, our example will be causes and solutions. This is our example question for today. It says, nowadays, many young people deliberately damage public places. What are the causes and solutions? If you saw last week's video, you learned how to make an amazing 2-sentence introduction. And so what we want to do is in our first sentence, we want to paraphrase the general statement. So I did that and I said, these days, many youth intentionally vandalize public spaces. And that means the same thing as what they had in their general statement. So we don't want to add meaning. We also don't want to take away any meaning. We want to say something that means exactly the same as what they said, but it needs to use some different words, and maybe the order needs to be a little bit different. So after we have paraphrased our general statement, the next sentence in our essay is called our thesis. And our thesis is the most important sentence in our entire essay. In our thesis, we need to answer the question, whatever it is, and give all of our main points. Usually it will be 2 main points for your IELTS Task 2 essay. So I answered their question in my thesis statement, and I said, this is a serious problem which is caused by ineffective parenting and incompetent security. But it could be solved by training parents and security forces to prevent teens from damaging property. So when we're talking about causes and solutions, our 2 main points are actually going to be double main points because they said causes, so it's not good enough to give just 1 cause. They also said solutions, so we need to give 2 causes and 2 solutions. And so I gave a cause of ineffective parenting, number 1. Cause number 2 is incompetent security. Then it's very important that my 2 solutions match the 2 causes that I gave. The solutions should be connected to the causes. That will give my essay cohesion and coherence. And so the solution for ineffective parenting is training parents. And the solution for incompetent security is security forces. So I've given my causes and I've given my matching solutions. And so I've written an excellent introduction. Generally, this is what your Task 2 essay structure and outline will look like for all question types. You'll have an introduction, about 50 words, where you have a paraphrase and a thesis. You'll have 1 body paragraph where you give one point, you explain that point, and you give one or more examples to illustrate it. Body paragraph 2 is the same, but you have a different point. But you also need to explain that point and give some examples for that point. A good way to think about explaining a point is to think about after you told someone your topic sentence, if somebody asked you, well, what do you mean by that? If you were to answer that question, that would be your explanation, okay? So you always need to give a main point. You also need to explain your main point, and then you need to illustrate it with some examples. Some good phrases to lead into an example are, for example, for instance, specifically. These things help the examiner know that you are leading in to an example. Examples will normally answer the questions who, what, when, and where. We will look at how this works in a moment. The last paragraph of your essay only needs to be one sentence, and you need to give a conclusion, which is a summary of your entire essay. It's basically just restating your thesis in slightly different words. And it should be about 30 words, but there's no specific rule that it needs to be 30 words. It just needs to summarize the main points of your essay, so it will look very similar to your thesis statement. Now, this is a general structure that applies to all question types. However, for each specific question type, we have a more specific structure. And so this is the specific structure outline for problem solution or cause solution, task 2 questions. The introduction is still the same. You're going to paraphrase the general statement, and you're going to give a thesis. In these types of questions, your thesis, as we looked at already, will give 2 causes or problems, and it will give one solution for each of those problems or each of those causes. Okay? It's very important that you give 2 causes or 2 problems, and then in your thesis, you need to give one solution to match one of your causes, and then another solution to match your other cause or problem. This will set us up to build an excellent essay. When we look at body paragraph number 1, in these types of questions, it actually has 5 parts. So the first thing we need to do is state problem or cause number 1. Then we need to explain what we mean by that. Then we need to give an example of this problem or this cause. Then we need to offer a solution, which we've already put in our thesis, but we need to explain it here as well. Then we need to give the result of our solution, which means we're giving some advice when we give our solution, and then we need to tell everyone what will happen if they follow our advice, how the world would be a better place if our solution was implemented, or how it would benefit people if they take up our advice and take up our solution. Body paragraph number 2 will be the same, except it will have problem or cause number 2. You'll explain it, you'll give an example of it, then you will offer your solution for that cause or that problem. Then you will give the result of that solution. So if people implement your solution, what will be the benefit or what will be better? Then you end with a conclusion, which is a 1-sentence summary, which will be very similar to your thesis. So that is the general structure outline. So my question said, nowadays, many young people deliberately damage public places. What are the causes and solutions? So obviously, I'm always going to paraphrase. And then for sentence number 2, I said the causes are bad parenting and bad security. And my solution for bad parenting is to train parents. And my solution for bad security is to train the security. Then in my first body paragraph, I'm going to start by restating this bad parenting point. Then I'm going to explain that point. So what I mean by bad parenting is that parents don't discipline their children. Then I'm going to give an example. Maybe sometimes teenagers come home late and parents don't handle that properly. So I've given my cause, now I need to give my solution. My solution is that schools should offer parenting classes. The result of this will be better discipline will improve the behavior of teens. The second cause of this vandalism of property is that bad security forces are unable to keep these important public places secure. What I mean by that is that they don't receive proper training, and that's what makes them ineffective. For example, many companies only have a 1-week training program for their security forces. The solution for this is that security companies should give better training, and the result will be better security forces that are able to prevent vandalism in public places. Then I'll give a 1-sentence conclusion, which is a summary of my main points. So, this is a really good outline. I have a really good structure. One thing that's very important is when you sit down to do your Task 2 essay is that you take the time to make an outline, because if you take the time to make an outline like this before you start writing, some people think it's a waste of time, but it will actually save you time, because then you will be able to write your essay faster because you've already got your ideas down in a solid structure. Your writing will be much more cohesive if you do an outline first, because if you're trying to think of ideas and you're trying to think of how to structure ideas while you're writing all your grammar and vocabulary and your paragraphs, your essay is going to come out really confusing. You're going to get a headache by the time you finish writing it. The examiner is going to get a headache when they try to read it. So it's very important. Spend 5, even 10 minutes when you sit down to write your Task 2 essay. Make an outline and make a good outline. This will up your score and it will cause you less stress on exam day. So now it's your turn. I'm going to give you a different question prompt, and I want you to make an outline following this format. As you practice, you should get to the point where you can read the question thoroughly, understand it, and compose your outline definitely within 10 minutes. You don't want to spend more than 10 minutes on this, or you won't have time to write your essay and proofread your essay. If you can get it down to 8 or 7 or even 6 minutes, that's even better. But make sure you do it well. Don't get sloppy with your outline, or your entire essay will be sloppy. So your question says, in some countries, levels of health and fitness are decreasing and average weights are increasing. So here's where it gets fun. This is our contest for the day. I want you to make an outline. I want you to post your outline in the comments. And if you win this contest, I will feature your outline in our video next week. And I will give you a free writing feedback from our IELTS Coach Pro website. So what you need to do, you need to follow this 13-point structure. So your outline should have 13 points just like this. And you need to use this question prompt that's on the right. So what you will want to do is you'll want to pause the video, create your outline. Again, you can take as long as you want this time, but as you practice, you must get this down to under 10 minutes, preferably 6 or 7 minutes. But make your outline, put it in the comments, and if I choose yours as the winner, I'll feature it in my video next week, and I'll give you a free writing feedback from our website. So you can start working and pause the video now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the full essay that I wrote in response to my question. I would encourage you to, after you finish your outline, to write a full answer to your question as well. It will be good practice for you. I said these days many youths intentionally vandalize public spaces, so I've paraphrased my general statement. This is a serious problem which is caused by ineffective parenting, my first cause, and incompetent security, my second cause. But it could be solved by training parents, solution 1, and training security forces, solution 2, to prevent teens from damaging property. Then I get on to my first body paragraph. One major cause of vandalism is poor parenting. So that's cause 1. Since many parents are desperate for their children to like them, they're afraid to discipline their children. I've explained poor parenting to mean bad discipline as a result of nervous parents. Then I give an example. For example, teenagers who reach home well after curfew often do not receive any type of rebuke or punishment because parents feel that it would be too awkward to address this issue with them. Now I will tell everyone what the result will be if they follow my amazing advice. So, as parents improved their disciplinary techniques, the behavior of their children would also improve dramatically. Then I move on to paragraph 2. I give my topic sentence here, which is stating cause number 2. Another factor here is untrained security forces. I need to explain that. It is amazing that most of the people tasked with keeping public places safe do not even know the proper procedures to prevent vandalism. How about an example? Well, many staff that join security companies only undergo 1 week of training in which they barely learn anything. Just to note, I have no idea if this is true or not, but that doesn't matter in IELTS. All that matters is that I can show off my ability to give an example in English. It doesn't necessarily need to be a true example. So we have this problem of untrained security forces. How can we solve that? Well, to solve this, companies must provide at least 1 month of preparation to their security personnel because keeping places safe is a very important job. If people follow my wonderful, fantastic advice, this will be the result. Among other things, this will enable security guards to stop adolescents who attempt to damage public property. So I've done body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2. Now all I need is a conclusion, which is a 1-sentence summary of my main points. So I said, in conclusion, vandalism is a significant problem caused by poor parenting and unprepared security forces, but it could be solved with some simple training for parents and security guards. In my opinion, that right there is a Band 9 essay for you. It has good grammar, good task achievement, good lexical resource, but especially it has some really nice coherence and cohesion because I used the structure that we taught you today. And so I promised you a free gift if you make it to the end of the video. And so before I tell you what your free gift is, I really want you to go check out www.IELTSCoachPro.com. We have more videos like this, more example essays, more structures, one-on-one coaching, live group classes, mock tests, all kinds of stuff that can help you with your IELTS. So check it out over there. But your free gift is, all I need you to do is in the comments, just ask for your free gift. Say, give me the gift, or give me the model, give me the example. And so what I'll do is, I will give you a full Band 9 level example essay for your question prompt. So just to remind you, your question prompt was, in some countries, levels of health and fitness are decreasing and average weights are increasing. What do you think are the causes of these problems, and what are some possible solutions? So you're going to make an outline. I also encourage you to write a full essay, and if you would like to see my essay, if you want me to send you a Band 9 model essay, example essay for this prompt, just ask for it in the comments and I'll send you a link so that you can look at this Band 9 essay that I have written. Until next time, all the best with your IELTS preparation. Join us every Monday for IELTS Method Mondays. And next week, we will be especially looking at grammar for your IELTS Writing Task 2. This is going to be a really important lesson because grammar really trips a lot of people up. So we're going to give you some tips and some methods to improve your grammar next week. So you're definitely going to want to tune in for that.